Oh dear. I mean, this hatred of tax, as far as I'm concerned, has got so enormous now that all the main parties have even started hinting we might one day pay no tax at all. But what would the world be like with no income tax?
For some years, experts at Tory Central Office have been working on highly advanced schemes for the abolition of tax. A town on the east coast of Scotland has been selected to pilot a pay-as-you-use scheme in which local services are charged at source. This man with an unpleasant head injury must find the correct change to pay for his visit to a local casualty ward before he can be stopped from dying. He has selected surgery and bandages. The local police, seen here on a dawn raid, also recover their costs direct from the consumer.
All right, sir. £172.65, please. OK. And there's your receipt. Thank you very much. Now go against the wall, you fat bastards!
Meanwhile, another town in Shropshire is piloting a different scheme in which every resident gathers once a year at the town hall to divvy up the bill for public services.
Who used the public library?
I went to the library, but I didn't take any books away. I just used the reference.
I've used the library 14 times.
Right, well, we're still £70,000 short. Who walked on this paving slab?
My husband's got really long legs, so he doesn't step on as many, so we shouldn't have to pay as much, should we?
I've only got one leg. Why should I have to pay anything?
Well, your wheels go over both bits of the paving slab. Police time. Come on, be honest. Who committed a crime? If you reported a crime, it's half price. Who was protected by tridents? Protection from nuclear attack from Russia. That's what it's there.
But so unpopular is taxation that a similar pilot in Newport collapsed when the whole town did a tax runner.
All right. Just a fifth result in another Labour hold at Horton in Washington. Just to let you know that ITN's exit poll are now predicting Labour majority of 159 and Sky are predicting a majority of 170. BBC One haven't yet put a prediction on a majority. They're playing a bit cautious. I wonder why. OK, shall we look at what's going on in the telly?
Right, let's go and have a look at what's happening over at BBC One with Dimbleby and his gang. What's happening then?
Well, it's very exciting. As you know, basically it's Labour, 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 Labour.
Yes.
But the thing is, all the candidates, indication of like New Labour rather than old. In the old days, right, you remember like thanking the police, big part of a speech. I'd like to thank the police for whatever it is they do. Well, what they used to do is they used to come on and like do their big speech, a lot of socialism, and say, I'd like to kill the police with iron pots and pans. But now they come on and they just thank the police. It's the law and order New Labour.
There's no change. That was just, yeah, I know what you're saying, man. And what about Peter Snow, though? Have we seen him? Has he lost it?
He's gone.
He's been locked in a cupboard. We haven't seen him for hours.
He must have just fallen. I mean, that swing is enormous. He must just be...
Did you know?
It's an exceptionally large swing.
This is possibly going to be, according to Peter Snow, the biggest Tory defeat since 1832.
You have been doing your job, haven't you?
1832, when Queen Victoria swept a victory in the polls, apparently.
Really? Well, she stayed on for, what, 70 years, so 80 years is nothing. All right, well, thanks a lot. Keep looking, and, yeah, there's BBC One.
It's good, isn't it?
OK, let's go for some expert analysis now from Bruce McDade.
I'm very excited indeed. The ITM poll says a majority of 159, Sky Share a majority of 170. If I were John Major now, I'd be hiding in a skip. I'd have a mobile phone in my hand and I'd be screaming into it, get me out of here! Now, the figures we're seeing now, if this was pornography, I would be watching and I would be smiling. Because they're all over the place. It's hardcore with some under-the-counter stuff for the Liberals. OK. But I say, even at this stage, err on the side of caution. Our polls we're getting here saying a majority, Labour majority of 6.
All right. OK, so thanks very much. Just this reference to pornography, is this an insight into your teaching techniques at university? Oh, he's gone quiet. He's gone quiet.
What?
I was just talking about pornography, Bruce, and you went very quiet. Thanks. Good. Good. I always love it when a pundit is found out.
Let's translate that into the other graphic, of course. Let's go to Valerie Singleton at the bouncy House of Commons. Can we get her up on the big screen here?
Hello, Val.
Hello, Val.
Hello, Peter. Well, I'm just sitting here, or standing here, thinking that if ITN and Sky are right, I'm not going to have enough of my team here to fill the House of Commons. But we've got one more to go in at the moment. Who's going to volunteer? You've got to keep bouncing. OK, you can go in and be next. And
John Prescott.
My Labour thing on the... You're all beginning to look a bit dejected, aren't you? But I'm sure your chance will come, and the Lib Dems too. Back to you in the studio for the moment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie.
In the last 18 years, there have been enormous strides in human knowledge. For example, advances in science have allowed us to prove the existence of fantastic miscarriages of justice in the 70s. We've made wonderful discoveries about institutionalized abuse in children's homes, and we're on the verge of establishing the first man-made link between BSE and CJD. Now, if you'd said 10 years ago such things were possible, you would have been laughed at for talking like a fool or Arthur C. Clarke's grandmother. So now it's time to look at some new advances. This is the Armistice Pish Podule, and we're going to put into it all the stupid theories that are clearly just pish just now. For example, theories such as that leaks from nuclear reactors have caused leukemia. In it goes. That's official pish. We'll lock them up in there until the year 2000 and then have a laugh as we see whether we were all backward fools in 1997. So, in go a few more. Here we are. Here's the claim, the pish claim, that the 250 deaths in police cells over the last 3 years were directly through mistreatment from the police, which is an unfeasible toss. Another one here, that local councils are infested with Freemasons, which is just child's fantasy, really. Another one here, that the Ministry of Agriculture has colluded with food manufacturers to allow dangerously low hygiene standards that lead to death, which is just old wife's piddle, really. There's a good one, that farmers are being fatally poisoned with toxic sheep dip because of low standards of chemical inspection, which I'd love to think is true, but it's obviously a myth. And finally, that British soldiers shot 17-year-old Argentinian prisoners of war in the back. In it goes, pish, all of it. But come back in 3 years' time and maybe we'll all look back and have a laugh.
Coming up, Screaming Lord Such gets taken seriously. Valerie Singleton's bouncing graphics. Amateur Dramatic Election 97. More from our politics-free zone. Norwich's favourite broadcaster. Keith Harris and Orville's Euro differences. And probably the biggest display of indoor fireworks tonight. Live, with results, live, and sleaze, live.
OK, hello, what's that, Mr. Tony Blair? You know some pubs open by the docks?
Horrible little man.
You're a thirsty gonk. OK, Labour's campaign has come under criticism for being too controlled by its central headquarters, and as this footage shows, even mavericks like Ken Livingstone were strangely obedient.
As soon as we win the election, 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 as soon as we win the election.
And behind the parties were the spin doctors, the men and women who tried to put the best possible gloss on a politician's doo-doos. A skillful spin doctor can persuade us that Virginia Bottomley is sticking up for the rights of the people of Hong Kong, even if what we're seeing is just embarrassing footage of her being sick on a Chinaman. So tonight we're going to play Spin Olympics, pitting the wits of three of the finest spin masters around as they romp behind the truth. They're the hype and the tripe, the gloss and the toss, and we've got three of them. They're here tonight to play Spin Olympics. OK.
Very good.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
It's not quite as good as a Welsh choir. It's not bad for amateurs.
All right. We'll have a game of rugby in here later, but let's meet the three candidates who are going to spin to win.
Candidate number one is Harvey Thomas, ex-consultant director of presentation for Margaret Thatcher, 1986 to 1991.
1891?
Candidate number 2 is Derek Draper, former chief advisor to Peter Mandelson. And finally, candidate number 3 is Tim Razzle, treasurer of the Liberal Democrats. You can applaud now.
I didn't know that.
OK, now we're on to round number 1, which is called What My Colleague Meant to Say Was. It's a quick-fire gaff round where we flash a sequence of potential gaffes committed by prominent politicians during the campaign, and you've got to save their skin with a bit of spin. So, for example, if we flash this up to you, Cherry Blair, I will leave the country if Labour get in. You might say, well, what Cherry meant to say was if Labour get in, the standard of living will be so high that I'll be able to afford longer holidays abroad.
You must be joking. I would say if she said that, she meant it.
For the purposes of this, just
we've got to
ignore all party allegiance.
Oh, it's all party,
2
right.
points if you defend another party, all
2
right?
points. Oh, right. That's a deal. Now,
It's a home and away
that's
thing.
a good brown paper parcel thing, right?
And behave.
You've got to be all the same, unlike the major parties.
Harvey's not going to behave for that.
No, I'm not going to behave on a programme like this. Go on.
Well, please do.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use the word programme.
OK, shall we get going? Shall we get going with the...
OK, yeah, David, please, give us your first gaff.
Paddy Ashdown, I would vote Lib Dems, but it's a wasted vote.
But of course it won't be when proportional representation comes in, because then every vote will count.
Oh,
Nice one.
Good.
All right, then, let's go for this one. I'm going to tax the bollocks off every man.
That's not what Tony Blair actually said.
Yeah, I'll do better than that.
What he meant to say...
No, what he actually meant to say was that he's not going to tax anybody at all.
Hold on, Tony was speaking to the Women's Institute, and of course there was no one with any bollocks in the room, and so he meant no tax rises for anybody.
Hey, you're coming alive. It's terrific. I've got to have a go on this.
Into the lead there with Derek.
Now, it's quite clear who the leader is, right?
Can you get your head out the way?
Challenge.
Oh, that's right. Can you get your head out the way?
Michael Howard, I like Posh Spice best. She looks a bit dirty. Whoa, that was a bit premature there.
I'm blowing my whistle here, but I can't see what you've written up there.
I like you just think Michael Howard, I'll defend him whatever he says.
Yes.
No, not at all.
I like Posh Spice best. She looks a bit dirty.
Well, actually, I just discovered Posh Spice is one of those female puppets that go around. My tent, really. And actually, Michael Howard meant exactly what he said, because Posh Spice is actually a downwind curry restaurant in Peterborough where he was with Brian Mahwiney, and that's the exact words he used. The she? Yeah. That's the waitress.
Very good.
Very good, he gets it.
Brilliant, but
They're
surreal.
good at this job, aren't they?
Right, okay, try this one then. Michael Meacher, Harriet Harman, bad egg, nice arse. Go on.
Oh, yeah, Derek.
He meant to say bad ass, nice egg.
I didn't dare say that.
I think Derek is pushing ahead.
Right, we're on the run, yeah, OK. Michael Portillo, of course I'm pissed.
Who's that?
Michael Portillo certainly would never have said that, of course, I'm pissed, because he has not got the hair or the ears or the face to be pissed.
No, I might throw that open for a bonus, actually.
I, for one, didn't understand.
What, actually, he was speaking after the election, and what he actually said was, of course, I missed.
Ah.
Yeah, better, but still not worth a point.
How much hair do you have to be pissed? Just working that one.
All the hair off a dog.
That's the point of spin.
OK, here we go. This is a good one. David Blunkett, I hate Muslims.
What David Blunkett actually said was not that he hated Muslims per se, but he hated the stereotyping and labelling that people in the media, unfortunately on tonight's occasion, your programme included, often use in a way that's quite denigrating to the ethnic minorities. So please stop.
I think you got that.
Please, put it down.
It's all right, look, you've got a massive swing towards you. You don't have to keep trying. You've won the election. Right, here we are. Peter Lilly to Gillian Shepherd. Do you want to go and see Crash tonight? I've heard it's good and violent.
What Peter Lilly actually meant was, you want to go to a good bash tonight, not Crash tonight. Crash is a movie, isn't it?
Yes.
That movie
with those puppets in.
Where they have all those puppets. Do you want to go a good bash tonight? Says go down to the BBC.
All right,
okay, that's the end of that.
We've been trying to tell him that the Spice Girls are not puppets. All night in the green room.
Derek, you've won!
Sorry, yeah.